Hey, hello, everyone out there in the virtual world that's watching. Hello to the few people here that are physically in our audience. And then hello to my amazing panel members that I'm going to get an awesome opportunity to just chat about life. Thank you all for joining us. This is our last edition. This is our last little episode of the Hard Conversations for this year. And so we've had a packed year of very thoughtful, hard conversations. We read a couple of books. We had some conversations about the how, the why, and the solve for homelessness. And so it's just been an awesome opportunity to dive into the topic. My name is Jolie Angel Robinson. I'm president and CEO of Housing Forward. You're hearing me say Housing Forward. I haven't changed organizations. Our organization has just changed names. Yay, give it up. I mean, like, a round of applause for a good brand new name change. We are now known as Housing Forward. It really allows us to fully encompass who we are and the work that we do. First, I want to give just a bunch of thank yous. Thank you to our VP of Development and Communications, Sarah Craig, for the coordination of all of this, David Gruber and Eric on our team that help with visuals and promote such amazing things like this. I want to say a huge thank you to Ashford Hospitality Trust for being a tremendous sponsor of the Hard Conversation series. Charles Schwab Bank and Northway Christian Church have also been tremendous sponsors. I do want to say we are physically in person here at First Presbyterian Church in downtown Dallas. So we appreciate the use of this stage, these mics, the lighting, the camera, so that we can have it live streamed to everyone out there. We think there's a component of being able to come together with a panel like this and have this really great conversation in person. As you heard me mention, we did go through our name change. It helps us fully kind of define who we are as an organization. We took the name Dallas out of the name. It used to be Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance, but we are now just Housing Forward, and I'm super excited about that. As our system has undergone massive transformation over these last couple of years with increased collaboration, alignment of homeless response goals, and a renewed focus on rehousing our neighbors more effectively, we are truly housing forward and housing more people now more than ever. We're super excited about that. We continue to work on creating and maintaining system-wide strategies for ending homelessness while centering the voices of those with lived experience. Which brings me to the whole point of today. Our hard conversation today follows the best practice nationally of engaging people who have lived experience personally through their family, of being unhoused at one time in their life. And so we really thank you all for your vulnerability and transparency that you're going to bring to our conversation today. I really am looking forward to hearing more. So thank you for lending your voice and wisdom to us today. So let's get started with some brief introductions. I'm going to start at the end. Our good friend, Jerry. Go ahead, let us know a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Jerry. I'm a peer support specialist over at the Bridge Homeless Center. I was homeless at one time. I went and got certified to be a peer specialist. Today, my life is so much different than what it was back when I was homeless and drug addicted. I enjoy people. I love being here with you guys right now. I don't know what kind of questions going on, but I'm here for the challenge. So thank you guys for having me.
We also found out that Jerry has not watched all of the necessary movies in life, but that's okay. We're going to get him up to speed. Jerry, thank you for joining us. I've heard amazing work about the work that you do as a peer specialist. Anytime I'm in a meeting with you, it has been such an amazing joy just to see you work. So thank you for joining us. Next, Deanna, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Deanna. I'm a business systems engineer for the IT department for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm also a board member for Family Gateway. My mother moved into Family Gateway when I was about 6 or 7 years old. She was pregnant with her third child, and she was recovering from addiction. My father was recently incarcerated with a 20-year sentence. And I'm not sure where I would be today without Family Gateway leading the way for my life. So that's
Good. Thank you for sharing. We're going to dig into those stories even more. And to round out our amazing panel of experts, we have someone who comes with like a youth experience lens. Pranav, my friend, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Pranav, and right now I'm part of the youth action board with Housing Forward, and I've been working with them for a few months. But for work, I work in hotel renovations right now, and as a part-time web developer. And yeah, and I'm just excited to share more about myself and my story, being homeless and everything.
I appreciate that. Again, I really applaud and am honored that you all are joining us today to share your particular unique stories, not only about your individual story, but what you want the world out there to know about the issue of homelessness, what personally it has felt like. But as you've been aboard, as you are aboard of Family Gateway, as you work at the Bridge, and Pranav, as you are a part of the Youth Action Board, what it looks like to even continue to serve in this space, we'll talk a little bit about. So Jerry, this first question is going to be for you. Can you describe to us, what does a typical day or week of a peer support specialist look like? What does that really mean?
Well, it's exciting from the start. As soon as I get it, it's really exciting. But I think more is that I get to see the people get it, right? When that light bulb comes on, it's kind of challenging at first when they're, because they're fighting acceptance to where the road they have to go on to get be housed, right? And to come out of homelessness. But I continue to keep working because I know that they can do it. And when the light bulb comes on, it's a great feeling to see someone and they go, Jerry, look, I'm doing this. Jerry, I'm working now. Jerry, and it really makes me feel good. I get there in the morning and the first thing I hear is, Mr. Jerry, can you help me do this? And it's like 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I can help you, man. And I can always remember someone spoke to me. I never thought I would be that. I thought I would always be the person that took help. I never knew that God was going to have me in a position to help someone. That's just a plus in itself, right? So the normal day for me is like just watching them shine.
Yeah.
In whatever stage they're at, watching them shine. Everybody that comes to our center has a fire in them. That's why they come through our doors, because they have a fire in them to succeed. And me being on the other side when they come there is just a great feeling. So it's not that hard. It's not really not that hard when you know what you're doing, somebody did it for you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And you be able to give it back. So it's not hard. The typical day is a great day. Every day is a great day that I combat homelessness, that I'm not homeless, that I'm helping other people get out of homelessness. It's a great day, no matter what time I get there. And that's a pretty normal day for me, and that's the truth.
So a motivator, a cheerleader.
Everything. Motivated, cheerleader, friend, breaker up.
Did you a little bit, Jerry, about your own experience? Did you have a peer supporter? What did that look like for you?
It's almost like my dad used to say, I walk to school uphill, backwards, and forward, right? I didn't have a peer support specialist helping me. At that time, I don't think there was a peer support specialist. But what I did have was, I remember the city of Dallas came and they picked me up the ground. I don't want to get too much in it. Sometimes it makes me tear up, but they picked me up and they said, I'm going to help you. And they took me over to the bridge. And at that time, someone said, Jerry, why don't we give you a haircut, a shower, get something to eat, and it's going to be okay. And I remember saying, I'm going to try this thing one more time.
Yeah.
I'm going to try life one more time. And I just did everything that they told me to do over there. And what's so good is because I remember the staff that was there. I hadn't talked to normal people in years because remember, I stayed on the street over 20 years living on the street. And I hadn't talked to normal people. And the staff would always talk to me like, normal. I get to know about the weather and all the news and all of that. And so that was something that was good. And slowly but surely, that shield started cracking. And I started becoming like, I'm somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody, right? When people start saying hi to me, before I can say hi to them, I start feeling good about myself, right? Because for so many years, I would walk past people and they would just walk past me. And I would just walk past them. It was like being able to go to school. And I know that feeling, man. And so I try to make sure that no one that comes around, homeless or not, ever feels like a ghost.
Right.
And that's it. And from that point on, I just continue to keep doing what somebody else told me to do.
Yeah.
Because at that point back then, my mind was out to kill me. I was told I would never be nothing. I couldn't be nothing. Nobody loves you. You don't look the right way. All those things I told myself, man. In my groups, I always say the enemy was the enemy.
Wow.
And the bridge helped me come out of that. Then I went into other places that helped me in Archives Anonymous. So,
Thank you for sharing, Jerry. Super, super important. Deanna, for you, I mean, Jerry shared so much kind of about his
I'm
experience.
sorry.
No, don't apologize. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you. I'm sure people out there are like giving thumbs up and hearts and all of that out there. So thank you, thank you. Deanna, your experience was a little different, right? You were attached to a mother and a family, and Family Gateway is where you all found yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience there?
Yes, definitely. Before Family Gateway, I remember being hungry. I remember being cold. I remember being lonely with my 2-year-old brother. And
You okay? You good?
whenever we walked into Family Gateway, my mother changed. And she probably experienced that when you talk, I'm realizing what she probably felt.
Mhm.
And every resource and every person that stood by to her, she grabbed onto it and she ran with the wind. My grandmother was telling me last night that she used to take 4 buses to get from Family Gateway to drop off my brother and my sister at daycare and then get to work. And then she would sell cans of Coke to make a little change on the side. That's my name. That.
Mhm.
Then she would come home, attend a Family Gateway mandatory meeting of some sort. And then she would make dinner and be a mother to us that we had never experienced before.
Yeah.
So Family Gateway changed my mother and changed that for me. I don't think I would be here right now with this job that I love, with my house and my family, if it were not for Family Gateway.
Powerful. That's good. That's good. And so I can imagine the stability perhaps that it gave for you, and you could be a kid, right? And what it provided for your mom to continue to excel and achieve her own goals, right?
Yes, I remember walking in, and after we left the shelter, we went to Family Gateway apartment complex, and I had my own room and my own bed and pillow for the first time in my life.
Mm.
So the stability, I remember what my sheets looked like to this day.
Mhm.
The stability was there in every aspect.
Nice. And I think before you talked a little bit about quinceañera and what that looks like, but what your wish was for that time for you in your life, what was that like?
I didn't have a desire to have that quinceañera. I didn't have normal desires, because my mom was trying to get a house, and she was trying to get out of the apartment complexes and things like that. So she had me when she was 16. So I kind of felt like I was her friend, and we were going through all of those struggles together. And so when she was moving into this house, I felt that as well, more than I would any other normal teenager experience.
Yeah, that's important. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that story. Pranav, I think you bring a very unique perspective for us. When we were kind of preparing for this conversation, you shared some amazing things that even helped me understand the idea of what our youth are experiencing, right? Whether they're college or even younger. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, I came to this country, with the full financial support of my parents, with a scholarship, taking care of tuition, and all of that. I just had to worry about health insurance, that kind of thing, and rent. And so once I come into college, and things happened, and I was out with my parents, and what ended up happening is that financial support, which I had signed papers for saying I will have this for the 4 years that I'm here studying, the rent money, the insurance money, money for food, all of that, I would suddenly have to take care of on top of like a significant course load that I was doing. And, just because if I didn't have a degree, I wouldn't have family support to go back to in India. I wouldn't, it's just it felt like I was trapped in this situation where I'm in a country where I know no one, as I feel embarrassed to talk about my situation. I'm alone. Like, what do I do here? And suddenly you have to play so many different roles at once. You have to be your own advocate, you have to be an immigration lawyer, you have to be a part-time worker, and this weekend, all of that at once. And the thing that helped me the most, honestly, was getting housing, which was at Dallas of Charities, which is space for LGBTQ youth from like 18 to 25. And so that really allowed me to, get myself into housing, it gave me time to figure everything else out. And so that's sort of been my experience.
What you said was powerful, like it gave you time to figure it out. Like each one of you, can you share how important that time is for you individually? And Pranav, if you can help people out there understand what a youth action board, like what kinds of things you all do, what you all talk about, but then I want you all to share how important having that time to kind of get your legs under you, figure it out, have that shell continue to crack. Pranav, go ahead.
Yeah, so starting with the Youth Action Board, it's pretty much a way to give our voice of like people with lived experience while they were youth to share, hey, this is the unique challenges that we face where, we can't necessarily go into every single shelter. We can't necessarily have access to every single resource. And also youth have very specific needs, whether it's education, whether it's sort of a safe place from, other dangers that are out there that adults wouldn't experience. And also another thing is a lot of like homeless youth, they don't tend to congregate in the same place as adults or older people who are homeless. And so trying to provide that insight into where, the systems can go ahead and be that first point of contact I feel like it's important work. So
absolutely. Part of the work that we do at Housing Forward and with our All Neighbors Coalition is monthly youth committee work group meetings. Our Youth Action Board meets regularly to talk about the system and how it is able to serve our youth experiencing homelessness better and more effectively, because to the point that you just made, it's a different system in essence. You may not see a bunch of youth showing up at the bridge, right? They may go through Dallas Folk Charities or Jonathan's Place or After 8, or some of our other places in the Collin County area. So thank you for sharing that. Deanna and then Jerry, just share how important it was for that time. Like it's time for family to kind of work things out, get it together, have a safe place, time for you and yourself to kind of get into some services and get connected.
During my experience, I didn't really understand I didn't understand why my mom had to take or buses to get somewhere in life. I walked to school with the apartment complex kids. I understand why when she came home, I had to wait for her to get out of the meeting. I didn't understand all of that at the time. But I did have her attention, and I did have, I could feel her love, and I could feel the love that she had for herself. And she was a strong woman.
Yeah,
So
that's what it gives, right? Yeah, Jerry?
For me, first I want to say it's very important for a stable place.
Yeah.
It's very important. It's, when I got clean, I beat homelessness or going into not getting homeless anymore. Nobody cared if I got clean. No one cared if I ever beat homeless because I had burned all my bridges. I had burned them all. Nobody cared. I remember calling, hey brother, I remember calling my brother and I'm saying, bro, one of the times, I'm getting clean. He said, well, that's cool, but can't do it here.
Yeah.
My mother the same, and I love my mother today. And Mom, you know I love you, and I'm so glad that you allowed me to do what I had to do. But it's very important that the bridge was a structural place that I could stand on, because I tried so many times to do it on my own, and it's like standing on quicksand. Like you get up and you slide back down because you got the stores and the drug guys, and you just go back down. Once I got into a structured place where I could stand tall and I could shower and I could stay clean. I remember showering outside somewhere and then get back dirty.
Yeah.
Because I had nowhere clean to stay. But when I got to the place, I was able to shower and stay clean and shower, and I could go to sleep and I could wake up, and I remember never leaving that place. Never leaving that place until I was able to stand really, really tall. Having a concrete foundation is good, and that's what I like about the bridge, because it's housing first. And I believe in that. You got to give us somewhere where we can just stand tall for a minute. And give us resources, right? Like teach me how to say thank you again, because I forgot. You know, I need to sing. I need all of these things. And I also want to say that, you know, some of the time the people that give so much to bridge, Stupa, I mean, so many places, Gateway, they give so much and they very seldom see the outcome. I'm so glad that I'm able to say, look, this is the outcome. We do recover. Like the things that you give, the things that you offer, you donate, it works.
Yeah.
We're proof that it works. I always say this when I'm stopped is that we're in the effort business and God's in the outcome. We just keep doing our part. That's what I keep doing. No matter how many people no matter how many times I have to help that same guy with a pair of shoes. I just gave you a pair of shoes. I just keep giving you shoes because at some point God is going to say, go ahead and walk on.
Yeah.
You're okay. That's what happened with me. And it was because of the bridge and these other people that continued to help me. The soup I kept feeding me, kept feeding me, kept feeding me. Even when I threw stuff away, they kept feeding me. And it's important for a foundation that we keep helping, because at some point, the light bulb is going to come on and God's going to do what God does.
Oh, I love that.
may I take you back?
Please, I was gonna interrupt you too. Yeah, please.
Because I feel the same way. Whenever I became full-time with the Dallas Cowboys and I started making money, one of the first things that I did was I had already followed Family Gateway's Instagram, and they were promoting their purple shirt for donation. So I mailed a check with a note, and I wanted that shirt so bad because, and I wrote the note and I told them, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And that's where I met my Family Gateway family. And I didn't know until I became a board member how much people care, because when you stop at a light and there's someone begging and you don't have anything at the moment to give them, you just pass right by those people, but you don't, normal people don't know that there are organizations like ours, like board members that I'm serving with right now. I can feel the passion in every board member's heart when they talk in our meetings. Whenever I go to events, the family gateway, the employees, I can feel their passion. It doesn't seem like a job.
Yeah,
And it just is so enlightening to be a part of that and to be able to give our efforts back so that they could, everyone else can see what an outcome looks like. So Jerry,
I love it.
Good.
Hannah, like the thread I'm hearing from all of you is how important it is. Your own experience has provided you a passion to give back and to serve people that have experienced the systems that you have experienced. Same with you and youth. Why is it important for you to be involved and provide your voice and leadership?
I mean, before, I became homeless, it was just an entire world of needs and, entire world of people where I just did not have any exposure to. I didn't understand the problems of youth homelessness. I just didn't know. I was just not aware. And after I experienced it myself, I was like, whatever I can do to prevent other people from going through the same amount of stress, have the same uncertainty and all of that, it's a personal thing at that point where if you can prevent that from even like one other person, you're like, I have sort of given back from, all the different help that I've received.
Yeah, so you mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned stress that people are having to experience, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so like whenever, you don't have secure housing, you are in a constant fight or flight. You don't have a second to breathe. It's one problem after another. It's okay, I've taken a shower, I've shaved, okay, now what? Find a job. Okay, where do I put as an address? Find that, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, find an address. I need deposits, I need a cosigner, we don't even have credit, all of these different things, it's on you to do. And once you have a spot where you can just go back, sleep for the night and have your stuff there, it opens up so much of your brain to just say, okay, here's where I can receive help for this, here's what I can do for that. It's everything.
Yeah, would you all add anything about the additional stress and what people may not know about that?
what I would like to say about that is the trauma never goes away.
Oh, that's good.
Till this day, I still have the feeling of, I remember being hungry. I still remember the feeling of sleeping in my bed for the first time. And other traumas that I experienced that I'm not ready to talk about in this kind of a setting. But you have to learn how to stabilize yourself now that you are set emotionally from recovering from the trauma.
Jerry, and how, as a peer supporter, how do you talk her? Yeah.
President, to tell you the truth, I was homeless so long that stress, all those things was like a normal thing to me. It was normal, like wasn't stress. I was just the thing about coming out of that, you see how different I am. And so now I know I didn't like it. Man, I didn't like that. And so when I see other people, they don't know they don't like it, but I know they don't like it. And if I know better, I do better. And that was the thing that I do today, because I know you don't like it. I know it, man. And if you're, you know it, because I live it. But it wasn't until I got out of the frame that I could see the picture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good.
Until I stepped back and got out of that, then I could see what was wrong with me. And that's what's so good about having foundation. You get a chance to step out of it.
It's perspective.
Exactly. I had very important.
Yeah.
Me. And that's what's so good about having that foundation,
Yeah.
the bridge, the gateway, other things, so you can see another way to live and say, you know what, that is the right way.
I have two more questions. One of the questions that just bubbled up is, why is it important for us to have a panel of people with lived experience? What is it about the work that we have to do that it is best practice, number one, but number two, just the right thing to do, that we're not trying to tell your individual stories or others, but that you are able to tell your own story, where whoever would like to start.
I'll totally start with that because I've been a board member for a couple years now, and whenever I'm involved with events, I see moms, and I dropped off baby strollers the other night and saw a mom walk in, and I could see the pain in her eyes. And I remember it just triggered memories of my own life. And whenever I attended Blue Bash last week, Family Gateway, and saw the children walking around, I pictured how Family Gateway is going to change their lives and where will they be 20 years from now because of this program. And I just am so grateful to be involved.
That's good. Jerry, why is it important?
I think it's important because like when I was homeless and on drugs, I didn't know anyone that was clean. I didn't know anyone that wasn't homeless. I had known no one that beat it. It's important that they know, because when I used to walk around, I used to think even though I seen other people, I used to think I was the only person. I was the only person that stole from their mom. I was the only person that hadn't bathed in days. I'm the only person. And then you hear that somebody else was like that. Start listening to them. Like, how did you do that, right? How did you do that? I always use the sheep analogy, is that I need to find people just like me, right? Because usually we go over here, like when the sheep hang out with the wolves, he gets ate every time. Every time he goes back, that wolf is eating. But when you get around other sheep and you go bad, the other sheep go bad too, and you know you're there, you're at home. So when I tell somebody, you know what, man, I feel like they can say, you know what, Jerry, I feel like that too, but you don't have to.
That's good.
You don't have to, man. And that's a freedom. See, yeah, you don't have to. And that's just to know somebody else been through what I've been through and they made it out.
That's good.
That's why I do what I do, because I want them to know that, look, man, even though, no matter what, we recover, man, and we can do it. They need us, and I need them too.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's not that bad out there, man, and want to go back out there and try. So we need to
Be reminded.
man. That's why it's so important for people that has been with lived experience.
That's good.
Because I need to know that your hand was dirty at one time, and you still hold mine.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
love it. Pranav, what would you say? Why is it so important that it's your voice, that it's the voice of Deanna and Jerry as well?
I feel like whenever, think about lived experience, whenever we share about what we've been through, the thoughts that we had going through it and stuff like that, it feels less like somebody telling a story in order to, get all of these things accomplished in order to help the community. It feels less, like it's just a thing that they're doing, and it gives like the people who are going through that a voice, like some dignity, it's a perspective of personally, like it's very personal, it's like, I care about this, I've been through it, less pain,
That's good. It's a good way to describe it. What are like a sentence or two, if you had to tell everyone out there the experience of homelessness, the experience of trying to find services, what would you say that is like? What would you want them to know? Even some things that you think people out there don't fully realize, and they have a wrong misconception or idea about the issue. I'm gonna start with Pranav and then go that way.
Yeah, and so I know you said a sentence or two, but
Go ahead.
it's not. I mean, I would just say, like, put yourself in a situation of, crap, tomorrow I can't stay in this place anymore. where do I start in terms of all of my needs? And if you just ask yourself that, just the amount of answers which are gonna, I don't even know where to find out. That is what I would say is, this whole process of trying to find resources, which is why it's so important for people who have to live the experience to talk about it, so we can better target those needs.
So really like tactically, really to the point. Imagine not having a cell phone and people are like, oh, I'll just use my cell phone and Google like where to find services. But imagine either not having a cell phone or not having service or trying to figure out where Wi-Fi is so that you can get service, to figure out where resources are. But then as a youth, like you mentioned, some of the resources are scarce as well.
Yeah, no, it's to have, I'm sorry, it's, no, but yeah, whenever you're in that like panic state and all of that, all of your mental faculties that you normally have as well, they don't necessarily work completely. You are in fight or flight, but it's the constant thing. It's like a constant state of being where past a certain level, you can't see where you need to go.
What am I going to eat? Where am I going to sleep?
But like, how are you supposed to think outside the box? Like, hey, I can get Wi-Fi at the public library, or like, I need to get a bus card. Hey, I can get it on an app. Like, again, you need a phone, you need internet access, you need a phone bill. And if you need access to mobile data or anything like that, I need to use the restroom while I'm waiting for this thing. Who's gonna let you in where? Especially because like a lot of the times, if you just go into a business, you see like no. Only paying customers use it, and you're just like, man, I'm trying to get a license. I don't want to like go shopping here.
Yeah, understood. Deanna, what would you say?
I would say it's a domino effect. Whenever you help that one person, you're changing their lives and the family that they're going to grow moving forward.
That's good.
I'm the first person in my family to graduate from the university. So I broke the cycle. But Family Gateway and the resources that were given to my mother was the root cause of that cycle being broken. So I would say it's the domino effect of what it is.
That's good. What would you tell people? What common misconceptions or false ideas may people have that you want to say that those aren't true? What would you tell people if this is your last moment to talk about this issue that you want to be sure that they know?
I would tell the people to continue to keep helping, to donate to shelters. I'm not a prime believer of giving money to people just on the street. But I do believe in giving to the shelters, giving to Gateway, giving to all of these places, because they're spiritual places, right? God made these buildings for these people. And the ones that make it to those buildings are the ones that make it to those buildings. We just got to make sure the place, the building, the resources are there. God is, and I'm just believing in it, God is going to drive them to there. And I just say that we do recover. That's what I want them to know, that we do recover, and it's not going to be like this all the time. You just keep doing your part. Like I said before, we're in the effort business and God is in the outcome. We just keep giving. We just keep helping.
I know I said I was going to only ask 2 questions, but we talked about books, and a couple of you, and Pranav, I feel like you're going to write a book too, or a podcast. You're going to start a podcast or a blog. I don't know if people still doing that, Pranav. But what would your book be about, Jerry, Deanna, Pranav? What would your book be about?
My whole life, well, not my whole life, but the 20 years that I was homeless, strung out on drugs, and I remember being by myself sometime, and I always wanted to write this book, and it was going to be called "And Then I Did It," and it would start off like I didn't understand how people slept outside. And then I did it. I didn't understand people using drugs and spending all their money. And then I did it. I didn't believe that an addict could ever be anything but an addict. And then I did it. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to make that. I didn't believe that an addict could ever get clean. And then I did it. And that's the name of the book that I always wanted to write. I don't know how I'm gonna write it,
We wait.
but it's in the make. I want to do that. So you guys look out for that book, and then I did it. All right?
And Sherry said a line earlier, which I'm looking forward to reading in the book. It's just something I did, not who I am.
Exactly, right? All of my background is just something, I used to think that's who I was. I really believed that I was the bad person trying to act good. And I found out that I'm a good person. I was just sick at the time. So that my background, I don't even care about that anymore. I use it to stand on to help people now. If it wasn't for that I went through, I wouldn't be the person I am today. That you guys say you love. Recovery is great. Again, I want to thank you guys doing all you do to help people because we do appreciate it.
Yeah, Deanna, a book is in you. What's
I really have wanted to always write a book, and majority of it would be about my mother's story and how I am continuing that legacy for her. And then also about the decisions that you make due to what you were exposed to in those situations and the trauma that you have to endure and how to overcome those. I would love to go rent a house in the mountains for a whole month and just write my story down.
and what a strong woman of your mother,
That is.
which I know I can see in you, right? What a strong woman to know that she needed support and help and to find that place when it's not always easy to find. So thank you for sharing that. Pranav, what do you have? You have a book, you have a podcast, what do you have, a blog post?
Okay, see, for me, even though I love reading, I absolutely detest writing. So it's gonna have to be a podcast. I'm a very verbal person. So I mean, for me, a podcast about the different systems in place that perpetuate the issues of homelessness. I would love to really tackle the nitty-gritty of that because it's so much to talk about.
That's good. There's so much to talk about the systems in education or healthcare or lack of affordable housing or all of those, right? That you're referring to.
Yeah, exactly. And it also, I mean, down to things like counseling, access to basic needs like food as well, you know, and good food where you're not just eating ramen for months on end, you know, that kind of stuff.
That's good. Well, I am so appreciative of you all. This honestly has been one of the best conversations I've been able to be a part of. I am blessed by each and every one of you and your story that you have shared, not only with me, but everyone out there, and the ongoing work that you continue to do to make our system even better than what it is today. So before we close out today's conversation, I do want to encourage everyone to stay connected with us. Please follow us on social media. We have our own podcast, Pranav, so we may have you as a guest. Or we might, well, this is a podcast here, right? We're having our podcast content as well. So this is a wonderful opportunity. That's the genius of Sarah Craig, our VP of Development and Communications. We are now Housing Forward. Please follow us at Housing Forward NTX on social media, or you can sign up for our monthly updates at housingforwardntx.org. And we want to remind you that it takes all of us, all of us out there to really end homelessness and make the experience of homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. I appreciate you all today. There are ways you can continue to be engaged, you can advocate, you can volunteer, you can donate to the shelters as was mentioned, or any other service provider that is providing key services to those experiencing homelessness. We appreciate you. You all have a wonderful rest of your day and week. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.